Hi, ladies and gentlemen, fellow traders. Happy new month to you all. I welcome you once again to another episode of Weekly Forex Outlook with Chart Engineering Pro. We really appreciate you for taking the time to watch this video, and we do not take it for granted at all. If you haven't yet subscribed or you are new to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any content we post here. Also, if you find value with what we share here, be sure to like, drop your comments, share your views, and share this video to your fellow traders or anyone who would find this information useful. And I promise you, we have very solid setups lined up for this week, so stay tuned. Without wasting much time, let's have a quick recap of last week's setups discussed in our previous video before we dive into next week's analysis. Last week, we had this setup on Euro USD, where we expected price to pull back to this area of interest to give us a selling opportunity. Price pulled back to that area of interest and give us this double top formation here, and we later waited for price to break the neckline of the double top and give us a pullback so that we can get a selling confirmation from the reversal formation we had here. Fortunately, we were able to catch the very first trade, and it was the FOMC that pushed the trade this much on the day the Fed chair spoke concerning the FOMC. And also the following day we also had a pullback back into this 4-hour structural point, and we were also able to catch another entry around that 4-hour structural point when we are still targeting our old targets that we had from our previous videos. So we are still holding on to this trade, and for the coming week I'll give you another possible re-entry for those who were not able to capitalize on this sell for Euro USD. We have here NZUSD. NZUSD also gave us a similar formation. Price pulled back into our area of interest and give us this 4-hour structural shift and give us this pullback back into our area of interest, and then we found a bearish confirmation, I think, on a 2-hour time frame here. This is the bearish engulfing candle which we took our trade from, and then we are still holding this trade. And for the coming week, we'll be expecting price to give us a pullback. So for those who missed out, you can expect a pullback into these regions, a pullback into this region, and then look for a selling confirmation, maybe a reversal pattern within this area, and take your sales from here and target the same targets that we have from the previous video. We have here USDJPY. So last week we anticipated that price was going to pull back to this very first area of interest we have here. So the area of interest we have here. Price pulled back into the area of interest and gave us a 4-hour structural shift, and then pull back into give us a higher low where we were able to get our entry from. So we were able to get our entry around this area. I think there was on 1 hour, yes. So we got this entry from this 1 hour, this bullish engulfing candle, this 1 hour bullish engulfing candle. That's where we took our entry, and we are holding this trade to the deep crab pattern PRZ. So for the coming week, should price pull back into this area, area of interest, we would like to look out for buying opportunities from this area to continue the buys to the upside. So if you missed out on this very first move, you can look out for this pullback into this area of interest and then take your buys to the upside. We have here GBPUSD and GBPUSD. Last week we were expecting price to pull back to this area of interest to give us a selling opportunity. Price actually pulled back and gave us this strong bearish 4-hour bearish engulfing candle, which made the confirmation not very conducive to join, because Euro USD was also lagging behind. So we were not able to capitalize on this move. But then this very setup we had for from our previous episode, I think episode 14, where we were able to get this sell, has finally hit its TP right here. So even though we missed out on this move, we're still holding on to this old trade, and then it's finally hit our desired target. Sorry. We also had a setup from I think last 2 weeks on EURGBP, where we were expecting price to give us this push to hit this very TP we have here. So price has actually hit its TP, and let's move on to the next. But for the coming week, should we get any reversals or any bullish confirmations within this area, we can look for this buying opportunity also from here to continue this buy to hit this deep trap pass in PRZ we have above. We have here sorry, Australia 200, which where we took this buy, and this trade actually tested our patience so much. It tested our patience. It goes into profit, come back to loss, goes into profit, come back into loss, and finally hit our SL. So we lost on this trade on Australia 200. We also have here German 30, and this trade we had we entered this trade last week, and as when markets opened, the SL got hit over here, got hit by the SL, and then later on price shaped up and gave us a nice head and shoulder formation over here, which we capitalized on, broke the neckline, and then we took our entry on the retest of the neckline, and we are currently in this trade, so we'll be holding on to it to the TP. And if you were not able to capitalize on this trade and you missed out on it, wait for a possible pullback into this area, within this area, get selling confirmations and continue the sell to the downside to the desired TP that we had from our previous episodes. Let's now look at the economic calendar for the coming week. So for the coming week, on Sunday, there's going to be a daylight saving time shift for America, so USD and then CAD. The daylight saving time is going to shift to I think -1, right? Yes, and then on Monday we have a bank holiday for JPY, and same Monday we also have CPI for the CHF, and also USD also has an ISM manufacturing PMI, and the Bank of Canada's governor is also going to speak on Monday. Tuesday we have Australian dollars cash rate, which is a very volatile news or event which we should look out for if you are holding any AUD pair or you are trading any AUD asset or any AUD pair. You have to be very careful. This trade this event is very volatile, and it can move serious pips when it is released, so be on the lookout for it. And later in the day we have job openings, and then NZD also has its employment change and unemployment rates later that night on Tuesday. On Wednesday we have the ADP non-farm employment change, and then also ISM services PMI, and it's actually an NFP week, and since the US government's shutdown is still ongoing, we might not have the NFP this week, even though it is listed. So it's a tentative event on the calendar for this week. So on Thursday we are going to have the Bank of England's monetary policy report and monetary policy summary for the GBP, or official bank rate for the GBP. This is also a very volatile event which we also have to look out for if you are holding any GBP pair or you are trading anything GBP. And then we also have unemployment claims, but it's also tentative because of the US government shutdown. And then CAD on Friday, you should take note of that. Friday, there's a CAD employment change or unemployment rate, more like the NFP for the Canadian dollar. So since the that of the US might not hold, I think the CAD one is going to have very strong effect on the market or any CAD pair. So be on the lookout on Friday when you are trading anything CAD. So let's jump into the charts and let's see what we have for the coming week. We have here DXY. So DXY is actually very bullish now. Last week we anticipated that price was going to pull back into this area, and give us a bullish confirmation to the upside. Unfortunately, price did exactly what we anticipated. So going into next week, we're looking forward to a pullback into this area of interest above. So should price pull back into this area and give us bullish confirmations around here, we'll be very much interested in taking the buys to the upside to this very target we have here. So to get the long-term view on DXY, I'll drop the links in the description box to the previous videos or previous episodes that I gave a clearer or a much more detailed view on DXY for the long term. So we had that on episode 1 and 3. So I'll drop the link in there. I'll drop the link in the description box, so have a look at it and see where DXY is heading to. Sorry. Let's move on to the next. We have here the Japanese yen index, and for the Japanese yen index, it's extremely bearish now. Price made its way to our area of interest here and gave us a nice reaction from this zone. So going into next week, we'll be expecting price to pull back to this very zone here to give us a bearish confirmation to the downside. Should price pull back a bit higher into this previous zone, we'll still be interested in taking the sell to the downside. So let's be on the lookout, which means the XXX JPY pairs will be extremely bullish for the coming week. So let's be on the lookout for that. So we have here Euro USD. So Euro USD, as we can see, it's extremely bearish now. So what we'll be expecting is we'll be looking out for a possible pullback into this very first area of interest. We get selling confirmations, maybe reversal patterns or bearish engulfings in this area. Then we take ourselves to continue the sell to the downside. We target this as our first target, and our ultimate target will be below here. Should price pull back a bit higher into this zone, we'll still be very much interested in taking the sells from that zone to the downside. So we are very bearish on Euro USD. For this to shift bullish, then we'll have to see price come all the way up, break this zone above, get a retest and go to the upside. Until then, we are very bearish on Euro USD, just as we saw on DXY. We also have GBPUSD, which is also extremely bearish now. So for the coming week, what we'll be looking out for is also a pullback into this very area of interest and get selling confirmations to the downside. We're targeting this place as our first target, and then our second target will be this zone for GBPUSD. Should price pull back a bit higher into this zone, we'll still be very much interested in taking the sales from there to the downside. So we are very bearish on GBPUSD. This can only shift bullish if price breaks this zone or clears these structures here and then gives us a pullback into this zone and takes the upside direction. So until then, we are very bearish on GBPUSD. We have here USDCHF, and USDCHF is currently forming a potential harmonic pattern called the Gartley pattern, and then we have that's actually happening on the 4-hour time frame. So this is our X, this is our A, our B, our C, and our potential D. So for us to get a buying opportunity, we're looking for it to this pullback into this area of interest here. Should price pull back into this area of interest, we're very much interested in taking the buys to complete this Gartley pattern. And we also have another potential formation. Should price go extremely bullish, then we'll be targeting the crab pattern PRZ we have above here. That's if price continues very bullish, we can hold this trade to this crab pattern PRZ. This can only shift bearish if price breaks below this zone, clears the structures here, and then gives us a retest to the downside. Until then, we are extremely bullish on USDCHF. We have here AUDUSD. For AUDUSD, it gave us a reaction within the zone we're expecting it to sell from, and so going into next week, what we'll be interested in is we'll be looking for it to a lower high formation. So we are looking for price to pull back a bit higher within this zone and then give us some bearish confirmations and bearish reversal patterns within this area, so that we can take ourselves from there to the downside, targeting these very areas below. So these are various targets for AUDUSD. And if you look at it critically, AUDUSD is giving us something like a head and shoulder formation. And so this is if you look at it, this is the, where did I pick this thing from? This will be our left shoulder. This will be the head and a possible right shoulder which is forming here. Then we take the sell to the downside. So it's giving us a head and shoulder formation, which is not very clear, but that's what it is actually. We have here GBPJPY. So for GBPJPY, we have a formation going on, which is a possible cipher or shark pattern. And looking at how JPY index is moving, should JPY index play out as expected, we'll be looking for a deeper pullback into this zone. And should we get any buying confirmations, a reversal pattern of bullish engulfings from this strong bullish engulfings from this region, we'll be very much interested in taking the buys to the outside to complete this shark pattern we have here. So these are the various targets we'll be looking out for. So we just have to give price some time to develop and give us some confirmations before we will engage in this trade to the upside. So we are very bullish on GBPJPY. This is going to shift bearish if price breaks below this zone, gives us a retest and then takes the downside. Until then, we are very bullish on GBPJPY. We had this setup. This is CADJPY. So last week we were expecting price to pull back into this region. The price just tipped the area and then took off. So we couldn't get the opportunity to join this buy. So for the coming week, what we're going to do is we're going to look out for a possible pullback to this area. Possible pullback to this zone. Then we look for buying confirmations to take the buy to the upside. Should price violate this zone and come all the way down, we'll still be very interested in looking for reversal patterns to take the price to these various TPs we have above. So we are very bullish on CADJPY for now. We have here, this is one of my favorites for the coming week. We have here EURGBP. So EURGBP on the 4-hour perspective give us a nice harmonic pattern here, which is a crab pattern. And this is the X, this is the A, this is the B, the C, and the D leg. So the harmonic pattern has actually completed now, and price is finding its way to complete the various TPs below. And looking at what we have here, just at our potential reversal zone, we have this nice double top formation here. So for the coming week, we'll be looking out for a sell to buy on EURGBP. So we're looking for it to, if we are fortunate to get this pullback into this zone next week, then we are going to take our shot from here to this TP2 we have down here. And if you are not too sure, or you might not have the time to monitor this trade, what you can do is you can just set your order here and put your SL right above this double top formation, and then target this second TP we have here. That's about 2.85 risk to reward, which is also decent. So let's look out for this. And when price pulls back into this area, we will be looking out for bullish confirmations within this zone to take price to the upside. So if we are fortunate for all these moves to happen next week, then we'll be very much interested in taking both for the coming week. But if it doesn't play out completely by next week, then we'll look out for the buys for the upper week ahead. So should that buy play out, this is going to be our target. This will be our first target, then this will be our second target for that buy move. But for the coming week, we'll be interested in this sell from this zone to the downside to this very TP we have below here. So we are going to look out for selling opportunities into a buy opportunity, and this is one of my favorites for the coming week. We also have here GBPNZD, and GBPNZD is also very bearish. So this also has this pair has also completed a harmonic pattern, which is an alt-bat pattern. This is the pattern that was completed here. This is the alt-bat pattern that has completed, and price is actually now selling to the second TP we have below. So for the coming week, don't really pay attention to this. What we're going to do is we're going to look out for a possible pullback into this area of interest. We look for selling confirmations or reversal patterns, head and shoulders, or double tops. Then we'll take our sales from here to these very targets we have below. So for the coming week, we are very bearish on GBPNZD. So So let's look out for these sales. If price does not come all the way here and it pulls back anywhere around these regions and gives us the selling confirmation, we can take the risk, but we're going to take it at a low risk because price has not actually made its way to the area of interest. So we might take a very low risk. If we get the confirmations before hitting the area of interest, then we take it to the downside to this very TP we have here. So we are very bearish on GBPNZD. This can only shift bullish if price violates this zone and then continues to the upside. And this is also one of my favorites, is EURCAD. So EURCAD is extremely bearish now. So for the coming week, what we are going to be looking out for is a pullback into this area once again. We're going to look forward to a pullback within this zone. So we get bearish confirmations around this zone. We'll take our sell to the downside to this very point. Should price pull back a bit higher into the zone above, we'll still be very much interested in taking the sales from here to this very target as well. So we are very bearish on EURCAD for the coming week. This can only shift bullish if price is able to break above the zone, clear these structures, and then continue to the upside. Until then, we are very bearish on EURCAD for the coming week. Sorry. We also have this for GBPCAD. So GBPCAD has also shifted bearish both on a weekly perspective and in a daily perspective. So to be very expedient if we look out for selling opportunities from this point going forward. So we're going to look out for a pullback into this very first zone, look for selling confirmations and continue the sales to the downside. So we're looking for a pullback, a possible pullback into this zone and get our sell to the downside. Should price pull back a bit higher to the zone, second zone above, we'll still be very much interested in taking the sales from there to this very target we have below. So we are very, very, very bearish on GBPCAD for now. And then this can only shift bullish if price violates the zone and takes the upside direction. We have here AUDCAD. AUDCAD is also giving us a very nice and unique formation. Price actually played out as I think a crab pattern. This is the pattern that it played out and it's now completing the pattern. So this was the harmonic pattern that's played out on AUDCAD. This is the X. This is the B, C, and this is D. So price played out as a crab pattern for AUDCAD, and now we are looking for selling confirmation to the downside. And as you can see, this is a head and shoulder formation we are seeing here. And for this head and shoulder formation, we can see clearly this is our left shoulder, the head, possible right shoulder, and then we are going to take the sell to the downside. So we are looking out for this potential sells in this zone. So for the coming week, we are going to look out for a pullback, and if you drop down to the 15 minutes time frame, you can see a smaller harmonic pattern developing here, which is also a reversal pattern, which will give us a very good entry for the downside movement. So this is the harmonic pattern developing here. It is a potential cipher or a shark pattern. So this is our X, this is A, this is the B, this is the C leg, and a possible D leg around this region. So it should price buy all the way to this zone. We'll be looking out for selling confirmations within this zone for the coming week. Selling confirmations around this zone or anywhere above here. We're looking out for strong selling confirmations, reversal patterns within this area, and we'll take ourselves to the downside, targeting the various targets we had or we have here. So we have this as our first target, and this will be our second target. So let's look out for this selling opportunity on AUDCAD. We are very, very, very bearish on AUDCAD for now. This can only shift bullish if price violates this head and shoulder formation we have here and breaks above and continues the upside movement. Until then, we are extremely bearish for AUDCAD. We also have here CADCHF, which has shifted bullish, even though it's bearish on a weekly perspective. It has shifted bullish on the daily and in the 4-hour time frame. So what we can do here is we're going to wait for a possible pullback into this area of interest, this very first area of interest. Look out for buying confirmations, and we take our buys to the upside, targeting this as our first target, and our second target will be the zone we have above here. Should price pull back to the second zone below, we'll still be interested in taking the buys, but we have to wait for cleaner confirmations before we take the buys to the upside for CADCHF. So this would shift bearish if price is able to clear back to CADCHF. This will shift bearish if price is able to clear this zone and then give us strong confirmation to the downside. Until then, we're looking out for buys to the upside for CADCHF. We have here UKOIL. So last week, price had made its way to this area of interest where we're looking for it to take ourselves. Price gave us nice daily rejections within this zone and give us this strong bearish engulfing candle. If you drop down to the 2-hour time frame, you realize that it was head and shoulder formation actually that played out in that zone. So this is the left shoulder. This is the formation we had here. This was the left shoulder, the head, and then the right shoulder wasn't too clear, but then this was the right shoulder, and then this was the left shoulder, the head, then the right shoulder, and then price was able to clear the neckline. So we're looking out for a possible retest of the neckline to take our entry. We actually took our entry here. Price came into our area of interest and gave us a 1-hour confirmation at our neckline, which was this rejection and an bearish engulfing we have here. And so later on, I noticed on the 15-minute time frame that a different pattern is developing before this price will actually crash to the downside. So if you drop down to the 15-minute time frame, you see a possible harmonic pattern developing, which is also a reversal pattern. So we had to set a BE2. So this trade hit our BE and then we're out of it. So let me just hide this one. So this is a harmonic pattern that is developing currently, which is a reversal pattern as well. So if this pattern completes, we might have the opportunity to get a very nice entry to the downside for UKOIL. So this is the pattern that is developing. This is the X, this is the A, this is the B, this is the C, and the potential D coming in. So we are looking for it to see price to buy to the upside, come to this potential reversal zone, this very first one, and then give us selling confirmations and we sell to the downside, targeting our old targets that we had from the previous episodes. So we are looking for it to reversal within the same zone for the coming week. If we're able to get that, we have these as our targets. This will be our TP1, $60.457 per barrel, and then our TP2 is going to be way below there at $55, $55.651 per barrel. So we are very bearish on UKOIL for the coming week. If this zone gets violated and price breaks out strongly from this zone, then this sell we are looking out for might not be valid again. So we're looking out for this buying opportunities rather to the upside. So we are very bearish on UKOIL. We have here US30. So for US30 is extremely bullish now. So we are looking for it to see price pull back into this area of interest, give us buying confirmations, and we take our buys to the upside. But before that, if you drop down to the 4-hour time frame, we realize we are having a nice formation here, a nice head and shoulder formation over here. So this is our left shoulder, this is the head, this is the right shoulder. So what we are going to wait for is to wait for price to break this zone and then come for a retest. Then that's where we'll be looking out for selling opportunities. Even though price is very bullish now, this is a counter trend trade, so we have to trade with caution from this zone. We sell to the area of interest we are looking for it to buy, then we take our buys from this zone to the upside. So even though we are extremely bullish on the daily and weekly perspective for US30, we'll be very much interested in taking this sell to this area of interest before we take our buys to the upside. So, but we have to take it on a very low risk because it's a counter trend trade. And we also have here the S&P 500. S&P 500 is also very bullish, just as we saw on the US 30. So we're also looking forward to see price pull back into this area of interest and give us some buying confirmations and take the buys to the upside, targeting this area or this target as our TP for the coming week. And the last we have here is BTC. And looking at what is happening on BTC, we're expecting price to shift this daily structure to give us a bullish confirmation. But as you can see, price actually rejected that structure. So that is telling us that price is still very much interested in coming into this area of interest we have below around 100,000 to 93,000 zone. So going into next week, what you're going to look out for, as you can see here, we are seeing something like a head and shoulder formation right here. So this is what we should be looking out for Bitcoin. So this is our left shoulder, this is the head. So we are waiting for a possible right shoulder formation. Then we take our sell to the downside to this very zone below. So let's look out for these sells before price might give us any strong bullishness for the coming weeks or months. This can only be violated if price finally gives us a daily candle break above this structural point and then gives us a pullback, and then we continue to the upside. Until then, we should consider BTC bearish for the coming week. Thank you so much for sticking through to the end of this video. I really appreciate you for taking the time to watch. I wish you a very profitable and a fruitful week ahead. And trade with caution, apply proper risk management to your trades, and then I'll catch you on another episode. Make sure you subscribe and share this video to fellow traders, and drop your comments and like as well. Take care and have a wonderful week. Bye bye.